So let's say, well, first of all, it's not my birthday, not till October. But let's say that we wanted to bake somebody a birthday cake, yeah? Obviously, there are steps to making a cake. So, I mean, these are just some steps that I made up here. But anyway, step 1, get your cake mix, place it in a bowl. Step 2, add 1 cup of milk. 3, break 3 eggs and mix it into the mix. Number 4, mix everything well for 5 minutes. Number 5, preheat oven 375 degrees. 6, pour mix into the cake molder. 7, place in oven for 40 minutes. Okay, so what if I switched step 2 with step 3? What do you guys think? I get the same thing, right? Switch the cup of milk and the 3 eggs mixed in, you get the same thing, right? But how about switching step 2 with step 4? That would mess it up, right? Because if you think about mixing before adding the milk, that's going to mess it up, right? Okay. Or how about, what else do I have? Switch step 5 with step 7. So in other words, you do everything you're supposed to, and you place the mix in the oven without turning it on for 40 minutes. And then at the end, you turn on the oven, right? That's ridiculous, right? So I guess it's obvious that in real life, when you're trying to do something, you need to follow the steps and steps in order. Now, sometimes switching it doesn't make a difference, but sometimes it does. So same thing with math. Let's get this out of the way. So we have our notes here for today, section 1.2, and we're going to be talking about the correct order of operations in mathematics. Now, we already learned last week that an operation in math is simply adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, exponents, parentheses, all that good stuff in math. Those are order of operation, or not order, those are operations. And just like making a cake, you have to do it in a certain order, okay? Because if you don't do it in the right step, you don't do the right steps in order, you're going to get the wrong answer, right? You're not going to get a nice birthday cake if you don't follow the correct steps. You're not going to get the nice answer if you're not doing the correct steps in math. So, step 1 is P. P for parentheses, all right? So, anytime you see parentheses, whether they're written as parentheses or as brackets, right? They might be written as brackets. What that tells you to do is to zoom in and do any math within those parentheses or within those brackets. So always look for parentheses first. That's like step 1, right? Parentheses. Step 2 is exponents, that little number, right? So for example, if you ever see that little tiny number up there in any math expression, you have to do that second after doing parentheses. So 2 to the third, that would be 2 times 2 times 2. That'd be a total of 8, right? Or the answer 8. And then so after looking for parentheses and after looking for exponents, we have multiplication and division together as step 3. Okay. So what does that mean, that multiplication and division are together, step 3, that you go from left to right whenever you're faced with multiplication or division, okay? See, multiplication and division, they're worth the same. Okay, so you have to go from left to right when it comes to multiplication and division. Now, also number 4 is addition and subtraction, and that's another one where addition and subtraction, if you're faced with both, you just go from left to right. Okay, so for me to help you guys out, remembering that, what do we have on the front corner of our classroom? The PEMDAS sign, right? There it is, okay? So once again, you're going to be going in this order. Parentheses first, exponents next. M and D are both blue because if you're faced with multiplication or division, you go from left to right. In other words, multiplication does not have to come first before division. Sometimes division comes first before multiplication. Sometimes multiplication does come first before division. So these are worth the same. That's why they're together, step 3. That's why down here underneath our poster up there, we have that little arrow. So if you have multiplication and division, go from left to right. And also addition and subtraction are both the same red outline to remind you that addition is not more important than subtraction, or subtraction is not more important than addition. You just go from left to right with addition and subtraction. So let's get to practicing. Let's go down here. Oh, by the way, we have all these detailed notes. Everything that I just said is written right here. Okay, so we have 10 minus 5 plus 4 minus 9. It's all addition and subtraction. So technically, because I have addition and subtraction as step 4, I need to go from left to right. I do not have to add first before subtracting. I go from left to right. So 10 take away 5 is 5. And then you could bring down the plus 4, then the minus 9. And then again, from left to right, you're going to go 5 plus 4 is 9. And you'll have 9 minus 9 at the very end. And that's how you get 0 as your final answer. So whenever you have addition or subtraction, go from left to right. Whenever you have multiplication and division, go from left to right. Okay, kind of like if you're reading a book, left to right. So let's practice right here, everybody together. Number 1, how many operations do we have? 3. There's addition, there's division, and there's subtraction. Okay, so which one do we do first according to PEMDAS? Division, right? Now again, is there parentheses? No. Is there any exponents? No. Is there multiplication or division? Yeah, there's division, so that's what we need to do first. So I'm going to underline, or you could box in, whatever. I'm going to underline. And I'm going to bring down the answer to 12 divided by 6, which is what? 2. And then I'm going to bring down everything else. By the way, is that 2 a positive 2 or a negative 2? Positive 2. So I'm going to bring down the plus right in front of it. I'm going to bring down the 12 that's way in the front and the minus 4 that's way at the end. And now I only have 2 operations left. We already got rid of that division. So I have addition and subtraction. Which one do I do first? Addition. Do we always add first before subtracting? No. It all depends what comes first from left to right. So from left to right, I have 12 plus 2. That's 14. And 14 minus 4. Final answer is 10. Boom. Got it. Let's move on to number 2. I love this one. So many people get it wrong. Right? What do you guys say the answer is? The answer is 4, right? No, it's not 4.
Multiply first.
If you multiply first, then you'd get the wrong answer.
No. Isn't it multiplication before division?
Isn't multiplication before division? That's exactly my point. I want everybody to understand this right here, right now, that M and D, let me ask you this, Austin, why is M and D both blue up there? Why are they both blue?
I don't know that.
Because they're...
All I know is just what they stand for.
Okay, so check it out. P is red. That's the most important thing, parentheses. And then the next step is E, exponents. Now, M and D are both blue because they're both worth the same. Multiplication doesn't have to come first before division. Division doesn't have to come first before multiplication. It's the same with addition and subtraction. And when you are faced with multiplication and division, you go from left to right. Yay? Okay, so notice we have division and multiplication. So if I multiply first, it's going to be wrong because I need to go, as you can see right below the M and the D on the poster, from left to right. I need to go from left to right. So going from left to right, you're going to do 40 divided by 5 first. What's that? 8. Okay, and then bring down the times 2. 8 times 2? 16. Done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, again, most people make the mistake and say, M comes before D. I have to multiply before dividing. That's 10. 40 divided by 10 is 4. Wrong answer, right? Okay, you got to go from left to right with multiplication and division. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, do we have parentheses?
No.
Do we have exponents? We have multiplication or division? Yeah, okay, so that's what we're going to do first. Let's do that. What's 10 divided by 5? That's 2. So I really have 5 plus 2. And final answer is 7. Let's try the next one. All right, do we have parentheses?
No.
Exponents. Multiplication or division? Yes, all right, so let's get that. You know what, on the other one I didn't circle the sign in front. It'd probably be a good idea to circle the sign in front so you could remember that that's a positive 3 times a positive 5. What's the answer there? Positive 15. And then I'm going to bring down the rest, bring down the 1, bring down the minus, bring down the 2. And now I have addition and subtraction. I'm going to go from left to right. So 1 plus 15, that's 16. 16 minus 2 equals 14. Done. Moving on. It's getting more fun. Or funner. More fun or funner? Funner. Funner's not a word. Whatever. Let's move on. P. Is there any parentheses? Yes.
Yes.
So these parentheses right here, what they tell you to do is to zoom in and ignore everything else. Okay, that's what parentheses do. They tell you to zoom in and ignore everything else. So inside the parentheses, you might have multiple operations. In this case, you just have one thing to do, which is subtraction. So we are going to subtract 7 take away 2. What's 7 take away 2? 5. Okay, so at this point, you could write your 5, and you could keep the parentheses if you want, right? You don't have to, but you could, because parentheses will help you remember that you need to multiply, right? Either way, you could have them there or not, especially if you already have that multiplication dot right there. So the final answer is 15. There we go. Moving on. Is there parentheses? There it is. Okay, so let's zoom in. 7 take away 2. 5. Okay, so this guy's 5. Let me rewrite everything. So 3, parenthesis, we said that that was 5. So it's always a good idea to keep the parenthesis, minus 10 at the very end. So we did parentheses. Moving on, do we have exponents? Do we have exponents? Do we have multiplication or division? Yes, it's right here. 3 times 5, or 3 parentheses 5. So if we do that multiplication, what do we get? 15. Final step would be to subtract 10. 15 take away 10 is 5. All right. Ay, ay, ay. It's getting more fun. Check that one out. Do we have parentheses? Yes. Parentheses mean to zoom in. So 9 take away 5 is 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite everything. 2/3 plus 3. But instead of this 9 minus 5, I'm going to put a 4 in there. And I'm going to rewrite even the minus 12. Check it out. So there's my whole math expression written over, except I already did what was inside parentheses. That was the first thing to do. Look for parentheses. We already did that. The next step would be to do exponents. Are there any exponents in this whole expression? Yes. So we have the 2 to the 3rd power. What's that? 8. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times another 2 is 8. And let me rewrite everything so we don't get confused. And I hope you guys use this practice also. Do one step and rewrite everything. Do another step and rewrite everything. If you do this, it'll help you from making mistakes. Anyways, so we've done parentheses. We did the parentheses up here. We did exponents. Now we're left with addition, multiplication, or subtraction. Which one do we do first? Multiplication. All right, so let's circle. That's a positive 3 times a positive 4. What's 3 times 4? 12. So I really have 8 plus 12 take away 12. Okay, now we have addition and subtraction. Let's just move from left to right. So from left to right, 8 plus 12, that's 20. 20 take away 12, that is 8. So final answer is 8. Skipping to number 10 for the sake of time. I'm running out of time on this video. Step 1, P, parentheses. Are there parentheses? Yes. What do? We zoom in and ignore everything else except what's inside the parentheses. So it's kind of like having another problem within the parentheses. So in the parentheses, do we have exponents inside the parentheses? No. Do we have multiplication or division? Yes, we do. So let's do this positive 3 times 5. And what will we get? 15. Now it's important, if we included the plus sign in front of the 3, we write down that plus sign down here in front of the answer 15. And then, of course, bring down everything else. Bring down the 1, bring down the minus 2, bring down the parentheses. Okay. Now we're still focusing on the inside of the parentheses. We've already multiplied. What's next? Add and then subtract. So let's do these 2 steps in our head. What's 15 plus 1? 16. And then 16 take away 2? 14. Okay, so let me rewrite my parenthesis with a positive 14 in there. Okay, 14 right there. And let me bring down everything else.